Alright, I thought we'd take a moment to demonstrate how a shuffle would work. It's pretty straightforward. So here I actually have an array of objects, each of which represents a character from Firefly. And each object has a name and an image. Simple enough. Name property, image property, character. One Firefly character. Okay, so we're going to use this to create a simple app. Which Firefly character are you? Something like that. And we're going to have a button which runs choose character function. Which a user will click to determine which Firefly character they are. Okay? Now this function is going to generate a random number, use that number as an index to pick an object from this array, and display the content of that object in our HTML. In fact, I'll even create a div especially for it. Okay, so how is this function going to work? Well, let's create our random num. And this is going to be Math.floor on Math.random. What was the pattern again? Times the max minus the min plus 1. Well, what's the max? The max is going to be the length of this array. Or is it? Remember, we want this random number to serve as an index. So, quick review on arrays. If we have an array of A, B, and C, what is the length of this array? The length of this array is 3. But what is the index of the final item in this array? 0, 1, 2. 2. Okay, so if we want to generate an index that represents an item in this array, our max is going to need to be array.length minus 1. That's our max. And then we have minus min. What's our minimum? Well, that's 0. Plus 1. And all of this is going to be added to our min. We're going to add our min to that, plus 0. Too many parentheses. So what does this come to? We have Firefly characters.length minus 1, minus 0, we can get rid of that, plus 1, well, that's going to get rid of that, plus 0. Okay, we don't want to get rid of this last one because, there we go, we want this to execute first, followed by the plus 1. Okay, so once again, the formula is Math.floor, Math.random times max minus min plus 1 plus min. Okay, our minimum in this case is 0, the lowest possible number, the 0 index. So we can actually get rid of this. We can get rid of this. And our max is Firefly characters.length minus 1 plus 1. So I was wrong. This 1 actually needs to be in here. There we go. Okay, so there. You see, I myself had to think through that. I had to work through that. I don't memorize patterns like this because I don't use them very often. And it takes me only a couple of seconds to work through them, to find that formula, to figure out how I need to apply it. And that's the same approach you guys should take. I want you to practice with it. I don't want you to memorize it. All right, so now that we have generated a random number representing an index in the Firefly characters array, what are we going to do? Well, let's do this the easy way. Character div dot inner HTML equals h1 plus Firefly characters at the index of random num plus closing h1 tag. Random num, and we want to display the name, plus an image tag with a source equal to plus Firefly characters at the index of random num dot image plus close quotes alt equals, let's do the same thing for the alt as we did up here. Close quotes, close angle bracket, and we should be good. Okay, so let's break this up a little bit. We're inserting into the inner HTML of character div an h1 containing the name of the character we're choosing randomly, followed by an image element with the image property of the character we're choosing randomly in the source, and the name of the character we're choosing randomly in the alt. All right, let's see if it works. Simon Tam, of course. Anyway, if we keep going, it will shuffle through all of the characters. And as you see, we've already come across some repeats, and that's because it is a random number. The number's generated completely randomly, and that's what determines which character appears on screen. It's a shuffle. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. Something to consider is if you are using a shuffle function, often once you've played a song or once you've hit a character, that character is then removed from the rotation. You know what I mean? You're not going to repeat that song. You're not going to repeat that character anytime soon. So that's a bit of functionality on top of what we've done here that you might want to think about. How could you prevent wash from being picked a second time without reloading the page? Something to think about, and a good exercise to practice on your own.